We're in the final saga, things are speeding up, so why not discuss some possibilities for the Straw Hats once they leave Egghead Island. Before we start though, I just gotta say that Oda has been very unpredictable lately, so who knows, maybe by the time the next chapter rolls around, this entire video is in the mud, or even by the end of the arc once we learn what the unthinkable shock and outcome of Egghead Island is. So with that disclaimer, my prediction is that after everything has been settled here on Egghead Island, the Straw Hats will go after Blackbeard shortly after. While Blackbeard doesn't have any road poneglyphs that we need to our knowledge, he does have something else entirely. He has a tow of people who are very close to the Straw Hats, namely Kobe and Pudding. Hell, if we want to go even further, we could include Perona and maybe even Garp on that list as well. And the reason I include Perona is because last we saw her, she left Mihawk's side to go after Gecko Moria, her former captain. And where was Gecko Moria? He was getting his butt stomped by Blackbeard's crew. So that's why I almost want to put Perona on the list of captives as well.
Happy Halloween!
Are you currently binging your next anime or manga and you don't really want the hassle of leaving your home for a nice hot meal? Well, thankfully, the sponsor of today's video, Factor, can solve that. Factor provides amazing chef-curated meals that are fresh, never frozen, and designed by dietitians to ensure that every meal is packed with premium science-baked nutritional quality. No meal prep, no more dishes, and no more unhealthy fast food. Factor offers the most convenient way to eat while eating right. Factor's menus are updated weekly and include over 27 meals and 34 add-on options. Choose your favorite meals or let them craft your order based on your taste preferences and meal history. Personally, I've been trying to eat healthier and get in shape, but all the fast food shops around me always seem to lead me astray, like Oda with my kid agenda. But no more of that, because with Factor, I now have a healthy, delicious, pre-made meal whenever I want that not only fits my lifestyle, but can pretty much fit any diet out there, whether you're vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, or even doing a keto diet. The biggest hurdle with the diet is the guesswork and research, but with Factor, they do all the heavy lifting for you. Factor meals can be prepped in just 2 minutes or less and is hassle-free since the cleanup process is non-existent. They're perfect for any circumstance, whether you're too busy to get food yourself, trying to make sure you're getting all your nutrition, or even just trying to save time during the day. So why wait? Use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use code FACTORSE35667 for 50% off your first box. This link will be in the description down below, and it will also be the pinned comment, so please go check out Factor because their meals are absolutely delicious. What's really interesting about these three characters that I just mentioned, for if you include Garp on the list, is that they all have ties to the original monster trio of the Straw Hats, namely Luffy, Sanji, and Zorro. We got Luffy and Kobe, we have Sanji and Pudding, and we have Zorro with Perona since they did spend 2 years together at Mihawk's castle. If word reaches them that Blackbeard has these characters captured, I can't imagine Luffy, Zorro, and Sanji just letting that slide by. But with all that being said, I don't think we're gonna go to Blackbeard directly after Egghead. I think we will make some little detours before that giant fight. I believe what's next up for the Straw Hats is Elbaf and Wano. And I know what you're saying, Wano again? Seriously? Why would we go back there? Hear me out though. Once we leave Egghead Island, hopefully with the best possible outcome, we will have one straggler, at least, aboard the Sunny. And that person is Dr. Vegapunk. Luffy promised Dr. Vegapunk that he would take him off the island. But what's interesting is that they never mentioned where they would go afterwards, where they would take him. Would Dr. Vegapunk join the crew? Probably not, since he's not exactly a fighter, and since all of Dr. Vegapunk's expertise and skills pertain to characters who were already amongst the Straw Hats, such as Frankie and Chopper. If Dr. Vegapunk were to join the crew legitimately as the 10th Nakama, he would put Frankie and Chopper off the job, since he can do what they can do, but better. Would we drop him off with the Revolutionaries and Dragon? I personally like that answer. But getting in contact with the revolutionaries would be the hardest part, and even if Dr. Vegapunk got in contact with them, meeting up with them is an entirely different story altogether, especially since the revolutionaries, as we last saw, are now on the move with whatever plan they had cooked up. Would we take him to Elbaf? That is also very plausible since it is the land of giants. I like to imagine Dr. Vegapunk would be protected there. But he doesn't really have a reason to go there. He's already studied the books of Ohara that they do have. And this could be a nuanced point, but we have to remember that Dr. Vegapunk asked Luffy, an Emperor of the Sea, a Yonko, for protection. And if Elbaf truly is Shanks' Yonko territory, it would be a little bit strange if Luffy just dropped him off there, when Luffy has countries and islands under his protection and flag, such as Wano. Now, let me explain why I think Wano is the best place for Dr. Vegapunk to end up at. First, we have to remember that Dr. Vegapunk is being hunted by the world government and Marines, so no matter where we drop him off at, we have to make sure that they are able to protect him. There aren't a lot of places out there that can just fend off a Marine, a Navy, or Admiral attack. Oh wait, there is! Wano! We literally saw Momonosuke and his retainers fend off Admiral Greenbull. Of course, they did have outside help, with Shanks sending a blast of Conqueror's Haki to Aramaki, but either way, they still put up a very valiant front, and that was all without Yamato even helping. Wano is currently a closed-off country, and Akainu has even said that he doesn't want to make a move on them, and that's simply because, one, the world government is not affiliated with Wano, so it falls outside of their jurisdiction. Two, there are rumors that powerful samurai reside there and protect it. And three, the Navy in general is just too spread thin. There are too many big events around the world right now for them to focus on Wano. Hell, he was even hesitant at the idea of Greenbull going there in the first place. Pretty much anyone they send to Wano gets stomped on, whether it's Admiral Greenbull, Maha, Joseph, Guernica from CP0. The world government knows that they cannot tread lightly against Wano right now. That is why I believe that if Dr. Vegapunk goes to Wano for the time being, not only will he have some of the best protection out there, but he'll also be hidden because Wano is closed off from the rest of the world. And also because it's part of Luffy's territory now. Another reason why I think Dr. Vegapunk will end up in Wano has to deal with Zorro. At the beginning of Egghead Island, Zorro wanted to make a request of Dr. Vegapunk, and to this day, we still don't know what that is. Zorro typically doesn't ask for favors from people, so what could Zorro possibly want that Dr. Vegapunk has or could do? Well, I believe that Zorro wants Dr. Vegapunk to cure the smile side effects that the people from Ibisu Town are suffering from. During Wano, Oda specifically sidetracked Zorro from the rest of the Straw Hats and had him go to Ibisu Town, where he formed a deep bond with the people there. This bond is shown multiple times throughout the first half of Wano, the most memorable being when they shared their only clean water with Zorro, when they had little to none for themselves, and when we saw Zorro display absolute rage when he saw Yasui get executed, and he saw that the people of Ibisu Town could do nothing but laugh despite their true emotions. Zorro, despite being the king of hell, is actually a really kind-hearted person. And I believe if there was a cure out there that he could get for the people of Ibisu Town, he definitely would. And what better person to cure the smile side effects than Dr. Vegapunk himself. Believing that Dr. Vegapunk can cure the smile side effects isn't super far-fetched, especially considering we're talking about the world's most brilliant mind, a man with the brain fruit, and not to mention, he has studied alongside Caesar in the past. They share the same devil fruit knowledge. And I would argue that Dr. Vegapunk's knowledge of devil fruits far surpasses Caesar. And the nail in the coffin as to why I think he can cure this is because he's actually cured one of Caesar's mess-ups already. He has cured the gigantification process that Caesar was performing on the kids at Punk Hazard. Oda actually showed us Mocha and the other kids at the beginning of this arc, and they all had Dr. Vegapunk to thank for them getting cured. In the latest SBS of Volume 105, somebody asked Oda if Chopper was able to cure the smile side effects before leaving Wano, and Oda responded and said that Chopper didn't have the ability to create such a medicine. While this seems bad on paper for Chopper, I feel like not only is this growing room for him, but it also opens the door for Dr. Vegapunk to come in and save the day. I know what you're thinking though. You're probably saying, ah man, Sai, if we go back to Wano, this is gonna take way too long. Nobody wants this detour. And I agree. I think if we went back to Wano and had a whole 10-20 chapter adventure here again, it just wouldn't be that much fun. But hear me out. Oda has a way of dealing with things like this, and he's done it before. The solution is to split up the Straw Hat crew. Not only would this be very effective time-wise and would move the plot forward, but it would also give Oda a chance to highlight certain characters in the upcoming arcs. Oda, for as long as I can recall, has been known for splitting up the Straw Hats at the start of an arc. This happens time and time again, whether it's Egghead Island, with Luffy flying off to the bottom Fabrio phase, and then the rest of the Straw Hats going up to the Labo phase. Whether it's like Dressrosa, where half of them stay there and fight Doflamingo, and then the other half goes to Zou. Whether it's Whole Cake Island, where part of them go after Sanji, and then the other half goes to Wano. Oda is not afraid of splitting up the Straw Hats. If the next place we go to after Egghead Island is indeed Wano and Elbaf, I do think they will split into two separate groups, Team Wano and Team Elbaf. And based on the latest couple of chapters, I am more confident that this might actually happen. And that's simply because Usopp has been turned to stone. And I'm not talking about him smoking the Zaza. Usopp is actually petrified. And while on paper, it's like, whoa, Usopp's out of the arc, right? We won't see him for quite some time. Why would Oda do this to him? He's missing out on critical character development. Well, what if that is because Usopp is going to be the highlighted star of Team Elbaf? Elbaf, for as long as we've known it, has always been hyped up to be Usopp's arc because of his admiration of the giants. So what better way to make Usopp shine rather than Frankie, Zorro, Sanji, or anybody else than to have him be one of the few members that actually goes there? By having less cooks in the kitchen, certain chefs start to stand out more and more, and that's no different than with this story. If Usopp is one of the 5 people that end up going to Elbaf, then Usopp's gonna shine that much more brightly. We all initially thought that Egghead Island was just gonna be a transitional island, something we go to, get a little bit of lore, and then leave. But that actually isn't the case. We have full-fledged war on the horizon. So with this being the case, I believe that after we leave Egghead Island, will we truly enter in to our transitionary and resting period before the great battle against Blackbeard. We'll have Team Wano, Team Elbaf do their thing, grow a little bit, learn some new abilities, and then they'll all reconvene at Hachinosu and fight Blackbeard. That's all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching up until this point. I really freaking appreciate it. Let me know what you think about this theory down below, and if we get to the next chapter and this entire theory is in the mud, then pie is on my face. But thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for sticking to this point. And extra thank you to the Patreon and channel members here on the side. You guys are freaking amazing. And with that being said, my name is Sai, and I'm signing out. Peace.